He's trying to find enough wiggle room to get in the van. No, you have to stay. But there's literally no room. No, River. You have to... River, get down. Stay. I'm sorry. You can't... No, I'm sorry. You have to stay this time. Okay? You have to stay this time. Hey everybody, what is up? It is Terry with Trey Runs Wild, and in this episode we are headed north to the land. Could I get salt and ketchup too, please? And ketchup, thanks. Thank you very much. Have a good one. If you watched the videos from the winter, you may remember the trouble I had with this door. Things must have shifted or settled a little bit, and it really, you can get it closed, but it's really tight. Actually, so I might just pull it over just a little bit so it's easier to deal with. It actually seems a little bit better than it was this winter even, but you can see where it's rubbing, so just a little bit should do it. I had to put shorts on because it's so hot out. It's just about 70 degrees. The warmest day of the year so far. Actually, that moved a little bit on its own. I have so much work to do, I don't even know where to start. So one of the projects I want to do is I want to trim out the creases on the joints on the tool shed, just to kind of make it look a little cleaner. I have some gaps I'm not happy with. I need to figure out what to do with all this scrap wood that I have. Some of it I'm going to use for shelving, but I don't know what I'm going to do with like some of this stuff. So I thought I would use these boards to make cupboards, and they're not really going to work for hinges. So I thought maybe what I could do is make sliders that maybe has like a finger hole and they just slide open this way. So I'm thinking about that. I got to put outlet covers, but I have to get those. I need to level the ground where these ties are to make them level. I want to rake up all of this grass or all of these leaves and pieces of scrap wood from building, just to make it look a little cleaner in here. I want to get rid of all these logs, and I want to get rid of all these pallets. These will go by the apple trees because the fence isn't doing it. And just get rid of some of this junk wood, either burn it up or stack it somewhere. I need to cut that pine, these two pine logs into beams. I need to do something with this pile, and I need to cut up that big tree over there. I got a couple raspberry plants that I need to plant. I need to go through all of my tiki torches and get those ready. Maybe we'll use those tonight. I've got a bunch of down logs over there that I need to address. And just general cleanup, picking up some scrap, pallet board, stuff like that. I want to get rid of this eyesore here. So probably split that. It's kind of rotten though, so I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And there's a couple of boards on the outhouse that I need to repair. That must have settled a little bit over the winter, and I still need to put a vent in there that I'm still deciding what I'm going to do that with. I need to clean up, just lots of cleanup just for some of the trees that I've dropped or have fallen down. Either cut it into firewood rounds or beam it out. The problem with these popple is you can see how soft they are in the middle, and they're really kind of junky trees. That's why I'm a little bit afraid of all these big ones here. The cabin's gonna go right here this summer, and all these trees are nearing the end of their lifespan, and some of them are leaning over where the cabin will be. So I don't know. I really hate to cut down big trees like that. I got a couple of them that are leaning right over the outhouse, but I guess to drop them now might be a problem unless I have the logger come in and do them with his claw machine, logging machine. But eventually this summer I want to build a bridge over the ravine. So I want to build a bridge across this ravine this summer, big enough so I can drive my four-wheeler across it. And I'm thinking out in this area here, I may end up putting in a food plot or a garden or apple trees or something like that. Most of the birch are all dying. You can see the tips are broken off. That's because they're dying on that one there. Even this one, the top is broken off. All of the birches in our area are dying. Some say it's due to climate change. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's pretty hard to argue that all of the birches in northern Minnesota are not doing very well. In fact, you can see a couple more through there. All the tops broke off and then they're dead and they fall down. So I should check and see if any of those are worth cutting down for firewood before they get too rotten. But otherwise, I have some young maples in there. But it really wouldn't be hard to clear that out. It's pretty level, dry, and other than the little maples, I think I would be able to get a fair amount of sun in there without cutting anything too big down. I'll show you that outhouse. I'm not sure why this buckled like this, but it did. So these boards popped on this. I'm not sure why. But anyway, so I got to pound those back in. It's not a big deal. Looks like this one was kind of doing the same thing. So I don't know if it settled or what, or if they just warped, or I don't know. You can see that some of them kind of had a crown to them. But I actually need to probably trim some of this up a little bit, although it probably doesn't really matter, to be honest. And I do need to get a vent in here. So one thing I noticed is in the winter, around the inside of the bowl, it gets really frosty. And then in the summer, when the humidity is up, it can get humid to the point where it starts to bead water on the interior walls. So I need to get a vent in there. What I was thinking about doing is just taking out some of this plexiglass and putting screen in there. The only thing I didn't want to do that is because in the winter, I will put a little Mr. Buddy heater in here, and that way I can warm it up in here before I get up to do any work in the morning. And if I had that screened, then all the heat would just come out the top. So I'm thinking I may just run a piece of PVC up with a right angle out and then up. I'm not sure. I suppose if I did a screen, I could put some sort of slider on there too. I don't know, we'll see. Beautiful, beautiful day. Can you hear those frogs? There's a slough, kind of marshy area over there. There's not really standing water. It's more of a wet meadow, sedge meadow. And I have to fix the bird feeder because the squirrels destroyed it so they could get more seeds. So I got a piece of screen. I just need to fix that. And I still have to order the tin for the tool shed and the wood shed there. What's the chances this whole thing is going to start. I think this mower is probably, I think I bought it in about 1995 or no, probably 1996, I think. Need to change the oil on this too. Really sharpen the blades. There, didn't feel like any gas was in the primer. Now I feel like it is. Wow. Tell you what, they sure don't make things like they used to. I mean, this thing has run for all of those years, and just a couple of pushes on the primer and a couple pulls and it starts right up. Stored it outside all winter long in the snow, uncovered and everything. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna get these pallets hauled over to the apple trees and stick them around there until I can get some better fencing and get some of this area cleaned up. I have no idea if this will make any difference, but you know, I thought with the snow and everything that they wouldn't be able to get to these, but I don't know how I don't know if they pushed the fence in, but they chewed every end, and I don't know how the heck they got that. I mean, really, how did they get the tops of the trees? Do they reach in with their neck? So I'm definitely going to have to make this wider so that they can't get to it. I hope those trees made it over the winter. Yeah, there's green bark underneath, so that's good. But anyway, these pallets, maybe it'll help so they can't stick their head in there. Or maybe they won't even care once there's plenty of other food around. Maybe they were going underneath, I don't know, but they really did a number on that one, didn't they? Yeah, I figured. I was thinking about doing some raised beds out here this year and maybe just put something like tomatoes or something that maybe wouldn't get eaten as bad. And this would make a good base layer to the raised beds. So I'm not sure where I'm going to put it quite yet, but I think I might try that. Either that or at a minimum make a compost pile. Oh, that's soft. Oh, wet too. Yikes. That might be junk. Yeah, look how wet that is. Some of that might dry, but that inner core is pretty soft. Wow, the water just pours out of there. Yep, that's going to be junk. It's kind of pretty though. That grain, if that grain would stay. I mean, that's kind of neat, huh? Yeah, it's pretty junky. Had that big root sitting around for a while, and there's so much dirt in it that I'm not sure if it'll burn, but I thought, well, I'll throw it on there, and whatever will burn, at least it'll be smaller. I can knock some dirt off it tomorrow and put it back in. So now I'm moving on to the tiki torches because I might want those tonight. Of course, these are all empty. You know, the problem with these is these wicks let the oil evaporate if they're not covered, and these wooden covers, they never seem to last very long. Of course, these wicks are all wet now because they're on the ground. But I've seen people take like a copper end piece, like a pipe end, and put that over there and then drill a hole in it and put a piece of wire on it. So I might do that if I go into town tomorrow. I might see if I can find some that are the right diameter for that. But I'm going to pull these wicks and trim them and get some oil in there. And I hate to fill these because they're, like I said, they evaporate and then they get wasted, but I guess I will be here for a couple days. I just went and put a little bit of corn in the deer feeder, and I jumped up a deer on the way out there. So hopefully they find it tonight, but it's kind of weird that they were right over there bedded down with me here with the fire and the smoke and making noise and whatnot. So I don't know if they're starting to feel safe when I'm here or what, but anyway, yeah, I'm just working on this pile, and I'm gonna have to end up splitting some wood, but I'm trying to burn stuff that's dry. Got a little smoked jalapeno and cheddar bratwurst tonight. Should be really good. It's from the local meat market, and they have some really good stuff. Might as well cook them all up. I can eat them for lunch tomorrow. You know, I haven't had any sign of bears this year, which I'm kind of surprised, although I really haven't had any feeders out, but I'm a little bit nervous about this grill. And you know, now they're looking for food, and my property is in one of the highest bear density areas in the entire state of Minnesota, so And I have had bears on my game cams before, so it would not be surprising at all. In fact, it's more surprising not to see any sign of bears here. So I don't know if they're afraid of me, if they're shy, or what's going on, but every day I come back, I expect my grill to be just smashed because of all the food odors that linger and whatnot. Well, some of you may be thinking, oh my gosh, Terry, why are you eating on this table where there's bird seed and the birds have been? Well, I've been super careful not to put any of my utensils down on the table at all. I realize the table is not clean and not sterile, and so I've been very careful about, yeah, my knife case is down there, but like my knife is on the plastic bag over here, and everything has been on the plate, so I am cognizant of that and trying to keep everything clean and uncontaminated. That stump is burning down really nicely. Be good to get rid of that. I tried splitting this popple and it's just so wet that there's just really nothing I can do with it, so it's going in the trash pile. Even being on the pallet, it just rots so fast. That piece looks a little drier. Yeah, look at that. It's just, you can see the water squirt out of it when you put the maul into it. It's just crap. But at least I got that, at least I'm gonna get that pile cleaned up, I guess, right? Which is too bad. You get these big trees and they're just kind of worthless. And breaking down a couple of these pallets where I had that popple wood stacked. I'm destroyed most of the boards, but I'll get some 2x4s out of it, but otherwise it's gonna be firewood, I guess. But I don't want the nails in it because I don't want to drive over here and get a flat tire in my car. So I'm gonna get the nails out at least. is no saving this pallet. It's too rotten and too full of nails, so I'm just gonna at least get some stuff off to burn, and the 2x4s are going in the garbage. Kind of looks like rain. I hope not. Although I do have some things I could do in the tool shed. I decided I wanted to run this shelf all the way to the wall, just so I had more room. Just cut a couple boards quick and There. Pretty good. It's not quite perfect, but I'm not going to be happy with that. There. Pretty good. This insulation has been nothing but a pain in the butt. But I'm going to need it for the shack eventually. But I think I'll probably take it home with me and put it in the attic, and instead of letting it sit out here and get mice in it. It'll be good to get that out of the shed. I'm just going to heat those brats back up for lunch. Something quick and simple. Well, I think I decided on this area here to plant those raspberries. It seems pretty sunny, and you know, it'd be by the cabin, so it'd be close by for easy picking. That'll give them some room to spread out. Gotta clear out some of this brush and rocks and logs. I think this will be all right. I was going to do a raised bed, but I'm going to save that for vegetables rather than the raspberries, just because I do want them to spread out. Roots everywhere in here with these trees. Guess I didn't need to make the holes quite so deep. Oh, those worms. Should save some of those for fishing in a little while. Maybe I will. Worms all over. Little angleworms. So this one is a blueberry, which I have lots of wild blueberries around here, but the berries get kind of small and they're kind of hit and miss. Some years are better than others, so I thought I would try this commercial variety and see if I could get some bigger berries. We might just turn that into supper later. Well, via catching the fish, not eating the worm, of course. All right, that should do that. Should probably put some stakes down or something so I don't, oh, of course, I planted it right in the shade of that tree. Well, that was dumb. Oh, well. Oh, the squirrels are... What's the matter, Roxy? Squirrels are getting a little territorial. Mating or fighting over food or what? I need one more rung on this ladder. Oh, it's getting hot out. This would be like a swimming day if the water wasn't 35 degrees. Well, I think I might have got it. I don't know, we'll see. Hi, Roxy Red. Are you eating your seeds? I think I'm gonna cut a piece of this trim and trim out that front fascia. I think I'm just gonna tack it over that tar paper just because when I do put the metal roof on it, that'll overhang it. It'll overhang the fascia. I don't know if that's the right way to do it or not, but that's what I'm gonna do. You're getting kind of piggy with those seeds. How come you chased Rudy away, Rudy's hungry too. And on the menu tonight is a little beef steak and some mashed potatoes and gravy. I've got my gravy mix warming up, and I've got my water boiling for my instant potatoes. I'm gonna do some baby reds tonight. I think I may have too much water in here. I kind of guessed what 2 cups was, and I might have overguessed. Which means my gravy will be over cooked as well. All right, we better go check that steak. All right, ooh, that wind is really picking up. I went down to the lake. I was gonna fish a little bit, and the wind was really strong. You know, you don't really notice it. Ooh, perfect. Up here because the trees block it so much. Rare, lovely. What I need is like a, remember that they used to have those old-fashioned picnic table color covers? They'd be like made out of like this vinyl plastic stuff. That's what I need. All right, I'm gonna eat. I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Good morning, everybody. As you can see, it is a foggy, misty day. It rained for a long time last night. And it was like the Mutual of Omaha when I woke up this morning. I got squirrels fighting over the seeds, blue jays, nuthatches, chickadees. It's like a free-for-all over here for breakfast. Just hung up my new thermometer. My other one was stuck on about 32 degrees. So the projects for today. Well, it's starting to look like a junkyard around here. So I want to do some general cleanup. This stuff's going back with me. I need to put the mower away. I can put some coolers away. I want to burn some more of that scrap wood just to get it out of here. Get rid of these stumps. Fix the railroad ties. Put the snowblower in the shed. And then I just need to do, there's that log beam back there. I think I'm going to try to saw up now. Want to get those boards cut up, or those logs cut up, and maybe do a little fishing. It's supposed to clear up a little bit later this afternoon, so be a good day. You know, I had these chains sharpened in the store, but I've had them resharpened so many times that I think they're just probably shot. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to have to run to town. There's a couple other things I need. Like I want to get these bolts for the picnic table so I can put new 2x6s on that. And what else did I need? There's a couple other things I needed too. Chain, the bolts. Oh, a 1x for the window. A 1x4 for the window that I never finished up yesterday because I ran out of boards. So I just need one more little piece there to finish trimming out that window. And then I want to put a 1x3 or 4 along that seam where the eave meets the roof. I had to put the same shirt on that I wore a couple days ago because the black shirt that I was wearing, that I started wearing clean today, it is so hot. The sun is just roasting me in the black. So I figured I'd go to a little bit lighter color, but hopefully I can get some of this stuff done. My nose has been bleeding. I blew my nose last night and both nostrils were just gushing blood. And about 3 times already today it's broken back loose, and so I've been struggling to try to keep my nose plugged up. So if you see any bats in the cave or whatever, apologize, but it's probably gonna happen. So I just went into town and I got some new glasses, I got some new earplugs, and I got a new saw. I've been thinking about getting a bigger saw. You know, the one that I bought, the one that I have, I bought probably 4 years ago. And I've used it. It's a good saw. It's been good to me. But it's a beginner saw, and it's really underweight for what I want to do with cutting some of these beams. And I will be taking down some bigger popple, and having a 20-inch bar and a bigger motor is going to be a lot less work and more efficient. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to give that a shot. And if it's not as good as I want, I still have the option of getting the 10-degree saw chain, which will take more chips out faster and be more efficient even yet. On my little saw, I didn't have an option for those types of chains because it's a beginner safety saw. Yeah. And I got the boards for the shed, so we're going to put those up and finally be done with that, except for the only thing left will be the roof. And I still have to order the tin for that. I'm going to probably just order that from Home Depot. So on the list, I want to saw up at least beam out 2 of those logs if I can. I want to saw up some of those popples into firewood, put the boards on the shed. And I also got bolts for the picnic table, so we could do that today as well. And then, of course, general camp cleanup and that kind of stuff. My list of things to do still. cut up the down popples, which we talked about, fix the bird feeder. I want to hang some lights in the tool shed, fix the picnic table, beam out those logs, hang some outdoor lights, level the railroad ties. Did I say fix the picnic table? Change oil in the mower, which isn't going to happen this trip. All right, fix the shed door. We kind of did that. There's a couple of pines in the grove up there that blew down this winter I want to cut up. I need to split wood. I was going to go run today, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Look for sheds. I'd like to do that. Oh, I have to measure the roof too, on both the wood shed and the tool shed for metal roofing. So I need to know how much to order. I should split up some kindling. Yeah, there's a couple other things that I need to do, but those are more long-term. So, all right, well, we better get busy or we're not going to even make a dent in this list. Oh, all right, well, the moment of truth. So I know down there is going to be pretty rough because I've used 2 different saws on it, but well, I got a little divot, but that's user error right there. But really, that's pretty doggone smooth, actually. Definitely can work with that. Yeah, see, I got a couple issues. You can see kind of the wavy lines in my lighter saw because I was working so hard to get it through. You can definitely see where I changed saws and look at the quality. It's much better with the bigger saw. And of course the saw chain is sharp too. That helps. Now I've never used this sawmill before, but the object of this one is to cut the boards off of the edge to flatten it out. So that is about right. I have a feeling this isn't going to turn out to be exactly square though, was my guess, but this is kind of an experiment. This, like I said, is new to me. That's hard on my back, it's too low. There's quite a bit of saw marks in it, but I did pretty good. I didn't waste too much lumber, and I don't think I left any live edge on here, which I didn't want to. Yeah, just that little piece right there. So I'm pretty happy with that. It went pretty quick too. Definitely easier to saw vertically than horizontally. I don't know if it's just physics or because the weight of the saw is working for you. But we're gonna pop that board off and take a look at our 2-sided beam. All right, I got my 2x4 all snugged up on here. The one thing that I have not accounted for is the fact that on these young pines, one end is going to be bigger around than the other because it tapers as it gets towards the top. And the other thing I need to work on is my finish cut. So I don't know if I turn the saw around at the end and do it the opposite way. I don't know. But that's something I'm just gonna have to figure out. But I'm hoping 1 inch from the live edge is kind of what I did on my corners, and that should give me a nice square joint. We'll see how it lines up on the sawmill. All right, that 1 inch was about perfect. It's going to be okay here, but as I get into here, I'm going to definitely have some live edge here. But for the most part, I think I should be pretty good. I'm going to start my stopwatch this time just to see how long it takes me to cut this. And I think this is a 12-foot board that's probably, you know, 4 or 5 inches thick maybe. All right, catch you in a little bit. Took me 3 minutes, almost exactly, to cut that board. And there's a little bit more live edge on that one, but it was tapered a little bit more. And as you can see, it's going to be probably about 6 inches, maybe 5 inches there, and maybe 3 inches down at the bottom. So, but you know what? Maybe we don't use 12 feet of it. Maybe we find where it's thicker at 10 feet or something and work with that. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and finish up this last cut on this board, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's all done. All right, so that board is all done. Obviously, that's that bad edge I didn't like. But let's see what we got. We have almost 4 inches by 5, so 4 by 5. And what do we got down in this end? I bet I'm going to say 3 by 4. Ooh, I don't like that. We're going to have to cut that off. So only 5 by 3.5. So it's really not that much different. If we just came in about another foot, I bet it would be pretty dimensional. And for the most part, I mean, it's not completely square, but for the most part, I think it looks pretty doggone good for a chainsaw and 10 minutes of work, you know? And if this is going to be post and beam, it's not really going to matter too much. Yeah, I might just leave that live edge on there. I could scrape that off with my draw knife, but I'm not sure I will. Although bugs will get under that bark too, so we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to set that one aside, and I'm going to do this big bad boy here. And yeah, this one should give me a 6x6 out of it. Squirrel eats so many seeds. You'd think that are you like getting ready for the winter, Roxy, or what? You goofball? Can I get by you here? I just need to go to the shed. It's all right, you're okay. Well, I tried to use a little bit more thought into this process. So I measured it out 6x6. See if that helps to get us where we need to be. Well, I tried to do a little more figuring on this to make it a 6x6, and let's see how close we come with our cuts. Should be interesting. It's hard on the back. Well, it was pretty close, but again, I got to work on this finished cut here. I'm going to have to take a chisel and trim these off on all my boards apparently until I get that down. Ah, batteries. Well, I've decided to put one of the raised beds here. It's kind of right by the cabin site. I'm not sure if it's going to get a lot of sun. That's north, that's west, and that's south. So we should get the sun coming through here mostly during the day. But if nothing else happens, if I don't grow anything, this is a low spot. I want to fill it in anyway. So it's going to be mission accomplished one way or the other. So I'm just going to go ahead and pack the bottom part down with leaves just to give me a little bit of a base and some compost. And then I'm going to put dirt on top of that. I have no idea if this is going to work or not, but we're going to give it a shot. Well, these maple sticks have been here since I built the driveway, what, 2-3 years ago now? And these stumps, the same thing. I've got a couple decent logs over there. I should get off the ground before they rot. This one I'm going to make into a beam. Wow, those frogs are so loud. But I just have so much stuff to clean up. But if I don't get this up, it's just going to rot, and I think I can still at least burn it. So we're going to load that up in the trailer and bring it over and try to saw that up tonight. Oh, it's ironwood, that's heavy. The balsam. Well, tonight I'm going to make pork steaks, but I'm also going to try to heat up these leftovers from yesterday, and I'm not sure how that's going to go. It's been in the cooler, so I'm not worried about that. I'm just not sure how mashed potatoes heat up, or even if you're supposed to heat them up. But I will also have I have some pork steaks that I'm going to start getting ready now to throw on the grill. Got a little chips and dip on the side. Those frogs, huh? Woodpecker. You know, I feel like I got a lot done, but I feel like there's so much more to do. I didn't do anything like recreational. I haven't even walked the land. I looked to go fishing, but it was too windy, so I didn't do that. I was going to metal detect a spot, and I didn't do that. I think this summer, I'm going to have to make a rule. The rule is going to be, in the morning, I do chores. In the afternoon, I go do something fun. And in the evening, I cook dinner and maybe do some more chores. Otherwise, there's so much work to do that it never ends. And if the cabin gets brought in here this spring, summer, there's going to be unlimited work on that. So I'm just going to have to pace myself. Otherwise, this is not going to be somewhere I enjoy coming. It's going to be just a job. But there's lots to do before I can like live up here. So I feel like I want to do a lot of those things too, just because, you know, it's got to get done eventually. And the sooner it gets done, the more comfort that I have when I'm up here. I'm letting the mashed potatoes and steak cool down a little bit. The plate was just too hot to even eat off of, but I don't know if it's safe or not, but I gotta say, these mashed potatoes and gravy from last night are still really, really good. But it's my last night up here, so I'm probably just gonna light the tikis early. Normally I wait until it gets dark, but I might as well let the oil burn out because it's just gonna evaporate out anyway, if there's any oil left in some of these. That one feels pretty empty. I might have to put a new wick in there. I did find some new wicks. I had a couple wicks in my toolbox of all places. Found those today. One of these was pretty dry and wouldn't light. I wonder if it was this one. Oh, there it goes finally. All right. So we got the tikis lit. We got a little fire going. Chainsaw's done, so time for a beer. And we're gonna listen to some music, maybe a podcast. Eat a couple steaks, listen to the frogs, watch the moon and the stars come up. There's the moon. I don't know if it'll show on the camera, but it looks like a crescent moon. And there's a star over there. I don't know what it is, probably a planet. Supposed to be able to check these pork steaks. They're sounding like they're done. They're sizzling pretty good. Oh yeah, they're done. No, I'm not going to eat both of these, but they came in a 2-pack, and so it's easier to cook them both at the same time. Let those cool. Yeah, I'm in a different car, and I've got the old river dog with. I don't know if you can see him back there. But I made it back home from the land. This morning I just packed everything up and took the measurements on the shed roof for the roofing, and did a few odds and ends, and then hit the road right away. So I've been home for a while. I have a vet appointment for River today, and that's why I needed to get home at a decent time. But thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you soon. Can you say goodbye, River?